What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It. It's your host, Bando, back at it. We're coming through with the review of this Dern Ribas card. It was actually a pretty dope card. I can't even lie. It was a good card, action-packed card, back and forth, good finishes, good fights. So I definitely got to come through and review it. So let's talk about it. Let's go. All right, so we're going to start this entire episode off with my man, Mark Smith. What's good, Mark Smith? Buddy Mark Smith, man. You, Mark Smith. I can't lie. Mark Smith is a whole ass bitch for last night. Now, look, I ain't trying to dog the man. That's a tough job to have as a referee. But listen, dog, 1 second left and you fucked up my parlay. 1 second left and I'm busted. Just like that. You know what? That fight was amazing, though. So let's actually get into that a little bit. That Roman Kopylov versus Chris Curtis fight. Fantastic back and forth fight. Very scrappy, right? Chris Curtis got a hell of a chin. I got to give him that. He's got a hell of a chin. But skill level wise, he's a scrapper. That's pretty much it. He's a scrapper. And he gets in there and he scraps. And he scrapped the Roman Kopylov last night. And he took some heavy shots. He took a lot of heavy shots through 3 rounds. He gave a lot of heavy shots back as well. Back and forth. But I thought Roman Kopylov did enough to obviously get the win anyways. So we get to the last round. First round easily went to Roman. Second round was close. Could have went to Curtis. Third round, Roman Kopylov was basically piecing him up the whole third round, landing mean, aggressive leg kicks, very vicious leg kicks he was chucking at Chris Curtis, and he was landing them. Alongside of that, he was landing a 1-2 right off of the leg kick, so he'd throw a low left leg kick and then come through with the 1-2 right off of it. There was a couple times where Chris Curtis caught on to it and caught him with like an uppercut and stuff, but in that third round, Roman was just opening up and kind of opening up for a finish. He rocked Chris Curtis multiple times. Multiple times where Chris Curtis went, wobbly, started fumbling forward, fumbling to the side, whatever the case may be. He obviously was getting hurt. But Roman was not going for the full-on finish after that, right? He was hurting him, but just leaving it. Right, he was kind of just leaving it, being almost patient. Now we're in the third round anyways, right? All he has to do is just secure the third round, not get finished himself, and he'll get the win. He drops Chris Curtis with a beautiful head kick. I mean, it was a beautiful head kick, no doubt about it. And he dropped Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis went wobbly, dropped to one knee. And, it was one of those situations where he dropped and he went to a knee, or his knees, went down on his knees.
Pause. That was crazy.
And kind of like, yeah, it looked like he was done. If the fight was, you want to talk about the fight was 25 to 35 seconds, completely different, right? You get knocked down and there's 30 seconds left. Roman's going to come through and get a finish. It's okay if Mark Smith would have stepped in there and stopped the fight. But with 1 second left, it's not like he got sparked KO'd like Justin Gaethje against Holloway. It's not like he was even that badly hurt. It was basically I just got dropped by the last shot of the fight, and that's the fight. And Mark Smith called this fight at 1 second. I needed Roman Kopylov by a decision. I had a big parlay. Every other parlay won. I had Cesar Almeida for KO. I had Roman Kopylov by decision. I had Mackenzie Dern for the win. I had Punahele Soriano for the win. So I had a fantastic parlay going. And Mark Smith screwed it with that 1 second. You got to let fights like that be finished, right? You got to just let it go to the finish. Now, it's something that people like me, we can sit back now. We have something to discuss. We have something to talk about from this card. But it does kind of suck. It sucks for Chris Curtis. Not the fact that Chris Curtis was going to win the fight. It's not like he was going to. That ship had already sailed. He was going to lose the fight by decision. But it's so much better going out on your shield, like not getting stopped by the ref. Like the ref stopped this fight off what he thought was the best decision with 1 second left was the dumbest decision. And look, I don't usually go at refs because like I said, it's a very hard job. Like think about that. You're in a job where your job is not only to protect fighters, right? But it's also to be in there to be able to call the proper things, right? Call stoppages, you know, break up eye pokes and all kinds of stuff. Like, you got to be paying attention. They move consistently. They put each other in positions where you can't see what's going on. So I definitely respect referees. I respect all the UFC refs, and typically I fuck with Mark Smith. But last night, fuck Mark Smith. Also, saw the last video, got 2 views. One of those crazy. One of the views was me, my own self, on my other YouTube page. Just happened to go through because I wanted to see if I got any views. I gave myself my own view, but whoever was the other view, shout out to you. I hope you ended up betting because we won something. Although the parlay missed, we still won something. Beautiful 2-leg parlay setup with Mackenzie Dern and Punahele Soriano for the win. They got it. Mackenzie Dern by submission. I locked it in as a solo bet. She got it done. Let's talk about that fight real quick. Decent fight. I definitely had a feeling that the fight was going to be a 5-round fight. And it wasn't. It was not a 5-round fight. It was, I want to say she got the 2nd round finish. But it was back and forth for the moments that they did have. It seemed like Amanda Ribas in the 1st round was definitely having more success. When the fight ended up going to the ground, it seemed like she was okay, right? She was okay. She was defending a lot. Mackenzie kept trying to go for some sort of submission, some sort of armbar. She's got a nasty armbar. If she gets your arm, it's probably a wrap. Now, Amanda kept trying to fight that. She kept trying to fight and avoid getting subbed, respectfully so. She kept trying to fight. She was doing good scrambling. She was, you know, it wasn't a crazy fight. It wasn't a super exciting fight. But Mackenzie Dern, once she saw that she can grab the arm, she grabbed the arm, pulled it, and I swear it wasn't 2 seconds she yanked that arm, and Amanda Ribas tapped. So it was a great finish from Mackenzie Dern. It was a statement made from Mackenzie Dern. If you did watch the last podcast, you will understand when I was saying that both of these women, they needed to go in there and get some sort of respect, like, from the fans with this, right? You can't go to a decision with this fight. These 2 women could not afford to go to decision. Unless it was a crazy banger. You're talking about a Joanna versus Weili Zhang banger. Different story. But it wasn't that, right? It was just a technical matchup between 2 strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters. Not amazing stand-up fighters. Amanda did look pretty decent on the feet, though. She was landing some good shots on the feet. I just don't think she has a lot of power. And that's one of the problems. She doesn't have a lot of power. But either way, I was saying that these girls needed a finish. And you get that. Now that you got to finish, people are going to talk about you being in the top 5, wanting to see you in fights against other people that also get finishes, right? If you're just taking every fight that you have to the 5th round, getting the win by that, that's fine. But then you just end up like Belal Muhammad. Yes, Belal Muhammad is a very talented fighter, but he takes every fight to decision. Therefore, you don't get a lot of respect from the fans. And then, you know, fans only want to see you against guys or women that they know is going to go in there to try to finish you to make a more exciting fight, because you're just going to be sitting there for 5 rounds watching people point strike. It's not really what you want to see. But Mackenzie Dern went in there. She fought great last night. Thought Amanda Ribas fought well too. It's just Mackenzie's ground game. I was so shocked when I went on the bet app. I use DraftKings. DraftKings is like my main go-to. I've used ESPN Bet before. I've used FanDuel. It's kind of like a switch-off thing. Like, I'll make a bet on one of them, and if I win a bet on that one, I'm just going to ride with that one for a little while until I, you know, get in a streak of just losing, and then I'm going to be like, all right, I'll go to a different one, maybe see if it's different. It makes no difference, legitimately. But I was looking at the odds, and I'm like, damn, Mackenzie Dern at a plus 450. That's insane. A plus 450 for submission is insane. If there was any way that Mackenzie Dern was going to finish the fight, it was going to be by submission. So I don't understand how that could have been so high like that. Plus 450, that's crazy. That's crazy, but I said, fuck it. I'm throwing money down on that. I didn't think Amanda Ribas was going to go in there and get a finish. I thought if any finish was going to happen, it was going to go in favor of Mackenzie Dern, and it did. So shout out to Mackenzie Dern. Fantastic win. Secured me a win on the bet app. Finally, feels like it's been a minute. Feels like I always try to give people predictions and picks, and I can't, like, follow through well enough because they're not hitting. finally we hit. We would have hit for 3. I've never hit for 3, go 3 for 3 for bets, and we almost hit for 3 if it wasn't for my good friend Mark Smith, my homie Mark Smith, my big dog Mark Smith. Dude, Mark Smith, the homie Mark Smith. Fuck you, Mark Smith. Yeah, I talked about Punahele's win. Fantastic win. Welterweight debut. I did not know that when I made this bet. I had no idea. I don't know why I wasn't paying attention to the fact that Uros Medic is a welterweight and Punahele was going to fight that fight. I'm thinking in my head once it started, I'm like, oh shit, this is a welterweight matchup? His debut at welterweight? I'm like, oh man, so he had to probably cut all that weight, all this and that. Then you kind of think about it. You look at his physique last night. He was a little middleweight compared to a lot of the middleweights. So welterweight is probably where he needs to be. Quick hands last night, good counter, caught him with a right hand, ended up finishing Uros Medic. So fantastic win for Punahele Soriano. A lot of people like to believe that he is a one-trick pony because we haven't seen much other from him besides the hands. I think it's just in due time. He is going to get better. You know, I don't see him being somebody who has a championship wrapped around his waist or anything like that. But I do see him being the type of guy who could hold some interesting fights around the top 10 to the top 15 for sure. Cesar Almeida's knockout was absolutely disgusting. Al-Hassan was going at him with bad intentions. So I'll give him that. Al-Hassan was going at him with really bad intentions. He was trying to get a finish and trying to get the finish quick. But you got to pay close attention to the way Cesar Almeida handled the pressure. He handled the pressure, he locked down, he stuck in his position, threw counter punches, ended up getting one of the nastiest knockouts. Definitely, in my opinion, KO of the night. I mean, he stiffened him, just stiff as a board, went down completely out. And a lot of people think Cesar Almeida is going to be something to really pay attention to. And when you see a win like that, it draws more eyes. How can you not? So I'm surprised that knockout isn't going viral because there wasn't any real crazy knockouts last night besides that one. You would think that they would be, you know, hyping that one up a little bit more. A prospect that a lot of people expect to be dominant is being dominant. We had a couple debuts on the card last night. Couple went good, couple went south. And then another fight that I got to point out before I end this video, Santiago Ponzinibbio. I thought Ponzinibbio was completely done when he was getting rocked in the first round. He was getting caught with some clean shots. He was getting tagged. He looked like he was stiff, slow. He was looking like he just wasn't there, flat-footed. And I'm like, okay, all right, maybe Ponz is about to get slept. Next thing I know, turn my head. Right, and I was watching the football game at the same time, the Steelers and Ravens game. So I turned my head back to the UFC, and Ponz is getting like fucking shots in, heavy shots in. Now he wasn't even throwing before, but getting heavy shots in. All of a sudden, this dude's cut bleeding on the other side. I'm like, what the fuck? When did this happen? So I'm watching the fight, and Ponz just completely took over. So shout out to Santiago Ponzinibbio. I was writing his obituary for last night, and he turned it around and got the dub. I even texted my homie. I'm like, yo, Ponz is getting whooped up right now. He's like, yeah, he is. And then 2 seconds later, it's like, we gotta, like, he said something like, we gotta eat our words or something like that. What'd he say? I said, Ponz not looking good so far. He said, not at all. And then 5 minutes later, it's like, we were saying, because just like that, it changed. But that is the fight game right there. Just like that, the fight can change. The guy you think is supposed to win could end up losing, and the guy you think's gonna lose could end up winning. It's the most unexpected sport, unpredictable, and that's why I love it. That's why I'm always doing these breakdowns, reviews, everything like that. But last night was a good card. I gotta give it props. I was sleeping on the card. I thought the card was gonna be trash. Great card. And now this upcoming weekend, we got UFC 311. It feels good to be back. 2025. We got hella good fights set up so far. I mean, obviously, you go to March, we already know we got Israel Adesanya versus Nasruddin Imavov, and the co-main event being Michael Venom Page and Cheryl Bullitt. That's going to be a fucking fantastic card. Then you skip a little bit further, we got the announcement of Rob Font and Dom Cruz, the announcement of Henry Cejudo, Song Yadong. We got the rumor for Miami for Volkanovski and Topuria 2. I know a lot of people don't want that fight, but if you really sit back and think about it, I'm going to make an episode on that. It's valid. It's not invalid. It's definitely valid that he gets that fight. I mean, I just watch next couple episodes, and if you want to argue that, you can watch the next couple episodes. We'll get deeper into it. But, you know, that fight is rumored. The fight with Magomed Ankalaev and Alex Pereira has been rumored. So we're getting a lot of rumors. Justin Gaethje and Dan Hooker was rumored. I need that fight. That's a banger. That right there, that fight right there determines if Justin Gaethje is going to continue fighting or if he's going to retire after this one. Watch him. I put my money on that one. Also in Miami, you got the Gilbert Burns-Michael Morales matchup. Fantastic matchup. Gatekeeping style matchup. Gilbert Burns always brings a threat to anybody, but Michael Morales is the truth. So we'll see what happens with that one. And then, of course, the ultimate rumored one, John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Johnny Bones wants 30 mil. Who knows what's going to happen, but you got to tune in for the next episode, head ass. No, I don't know if John Jones is gonna fight this fight. Like, truthfully, I feel like they might come to an agreement for the 30 million and it might not be enough type shit. But I don't know. We'll talk about that later. We'll break that down later. That's it for this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notifications so you know when the next episode is out. Look at your boy stuttering. Hit that bell notification button so you can see me stutter on the next episode too. And that's it. Your boy Bano's out. I'll catch you on the next episode. Fuck you, Mark Smith.